Hey guys, welcome to Carnivore Expeditions. Over the next month, I'm going to be trying out these Altra Olympus 6 shoes. I'm a big fan of Altra. I normally wear the Altra Lone Peak series. The Altra Lone Peak series are great for trail running and hiking, but I'm going to try out the Olympus 6. The main reason that I'm trying these out is because they have more cushion, and I'm planning to do some backpacking where I'm going to be carrying a heavy 30 to 40 pound backpack. All right, here it is. This is the men's Altra Olympus 6, and I went with this charcoal and blue color. Of course, they come in different colors. I can already tell these are beefier and heavier than the Lone Peak. Take a look at the laces. They have flat laces, which I like. I think flat laces are better than round laces. They stay tied better. It has a little hook here at the front and Velcro here at the back. That's for attaching gaiters to keep snow and dirt out of your Altras. It has a wraparound outer sole, which gives you a lot of protection. It's supposed to be really grippy. These are Vibram. There's a little Vibram logo on the bottom, another Vibram logo on the side. Let's take a look at the toe box. Just like all Altras, it has a very wide toe box. Gives your toes plenty of room to splay out. It also has the 0 degree heel to toe drop for a very natural step. All right, let's spend a month in the Rocky Mountains testing these things out. That's a huge 60-pound backpack. Let's do some fishing in Wyoming. That's a good one. No problems with them so far. They're a little bit heavier than I expected. They have some really good padding here at the heel. You can maybe see the little ridges in there. So that makes it really comfortable. I am back in Northwest Georgia after a 3-week trip to the Rocky Mountains. I put about 60 miles on these Olympus 6s. That doesn't include wearing these to the gym, on the treadmill, walking the dog, or just going to the grocery store. If you add up total miles, it's probably more like 100 miles. Is this the right shoe for you? Well, it depends. The Olympus 6 has more padding than the Lone Peak series. This is a men's size 11. It's about 12.5 ounces. The Lone Peak 9 Plus in the same size is about 11.5 ounces. So it's a full 1 ounce heavier than the Lone Peaks. It has more cushion. It has more of a wraparound sole. Gives your foot a little more protection. The EVA cushion system is very soft, much more comfortable than the Lone Peak series. The reason I bought these primarily is not for trail running, but for heavy backpacking. When I was out west a couple of weeks ago, I went on some mountaineering trips where I was carrying a lot of equipment in my backpack. If you do any mountaineering, you know that in addition to your regular camping equipment, such as your tent, your backpack, your sleeping bag, you're also carrying mountaineering boots, crampons, ice axes. It's a lot more heavier than just normal backpacking, and that's why I wanted these. I wanted some extra cushion for backpacking where I was carrying at least a 60-pound backpack. Now, if you are just day hiking or you're just trail running, the Lone Peak is probably going to be more comfortable because it's going to be lighter weight Let's talk a little bit about the ventilation. As you can see, there's a lot of little ventilation holes here on these Olympus 6 shoes. That means that if you get started early in the morning and there's a lot of dew on the grass, your feet and socks are going to get wet a lot quicker because of the ventilation. They're also going to dry out a lot quicker as well, but they are going to get wet quicker. If you're going down a dusty trail, you're probably going to get a lot more dust and dirt through these little vent holes. When you take your shoes off at the end of the day, you're going to have dirty feet. So if that bothers you, the Altra 6 is maybe not for you. If you're worried about your feet getting wet or dusty and dirty, you may want to check out some of the Altra GTX series. This is a Lone Peak GTX. These are waterproof. They don't let in as much dust and water. These are some Altra Temp GTXs. They're more of a boot cut, and these are also waterproof. They don't have as much ventilation. Your feet are going to sweat more, but you're not going to get as wet. You're not going to get as dusty as you will in the Altra Olympus 6 with all of these ventilation holes. On the first day of a very heavy backpacking trip wearing these Olympus 6 shoes, I noticed on my right heel that I was starting to get a hot spot when I was doing a lot of elevation gain. I was going uphill and I could sense that my right heel was starting to get hot. I immediately stopped and I took off my shoes and I looked at my heel. There was a little red spot on there. It wasn't a blister yet, but I changed socks. I also noticed that I didn't have my right shoe as snugly tied as I did my left shoe. So I stopped, I made some adjustments, I changed my socks, and it never turned into a blister. But these Olympus 6s, they can be a little finicky. You need to make sure that you have them properly laced up and snug. They don't have to be tight, but they do have to be snug, especially if you're doing a lot of elevation gain. Guys, what is the bottom line regarding the Olympus 6? From my point of view, it really depends upon what you're doing. If you're trail running, I'm going to go with the Lone Peak series. They're lighter, they don't have as much cushioning, but I really like the Lone Peak for trail running. When it comes to backpacking, especially backpacking with weight, the Olympus 6 is hard to beat because of the extra cushioning. You still have the wide toe box, you still have the 0-degree heel to toe drop. It makes for some very natural hiking. But I like the Olympus 6 for backpacking. I like the Lone Peak for trail running. Guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to put some links up on the screen to some other great outdoor videos which I think you're going to love. May God bless you, and I hope to see you out there on the trail.